a moment, and we are live on both. What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube and TikTok? Stephen and I am back for another stream. We are looking for debates. We are looking for conversations. We are looking for debates and conversations. That is what we are looking for. That's what we're all here for. So if anybody disagrees with any of the points that are on the screen, please do feel free to pop up and to debate, because after all, that is literally what we are here for. We have a good few people in. Thank you so much for liking the live. Everybody else, please do like the live on TikTok and on YouTube. Of course, it really does help push people to the stream. It helps to get debates, which is what we are here for. That's, I mean, like, that's just what we're here for. That's why we're all here. I have the co-host option now, which I never actually had before. It was always kind of blurred out and stuff like that. So anyway, but before we get into that, we're going to be talking about like some like relatively kind of breaking news. It's really weird because of the time zone and stuff like that. Like, we don't normally, or I don't normally anyway, get to kind of talk about stuff that's like literally just happening. But have you guys seen that Trump and Zelensky had a little bit of a falling out in the Oval Office? Because a lot of people are talking about it. It's kind of mental. I mean, like literally just like the sheer amount of like disrespect that Trump showed him. I mean, like, that was already kind of like bad enough, right? But then you're talking about just like the ramifications of it and stuff like that. And I mean, so it was a couple of weeks ago that Trump called Zelensky a dictator, and then it was only a couple of days ago that a reporter in the Oval Office asked him if he still thinks that Zelensky is a dictator, and Trump said, did I say that? Did I actually say that? I don't remember saying that. Wow, yeah, that's pretty wild. I don't actually remember saying that. So this is really kind of weird, right? Because the guy just doesn't know what the fuck he's saying half the time. So that's already a little bit mental. But then he's in the Oval Office, and I mean, like, he's literally just bracing him. He is a dictator, absolutely. Well, now, okay, whoa, hang on. Are you saying that Zelensky is a dictator, Steve Malloy? Are you saying that Zelensky is a dictator? Because I mean, like, we're gonna have some serious disagreements there. Yeah, I mean, Zelensky is absolutely not a fucking dictator. You are? Okay, well, I mean, like, if you think that he is, I mean, absolutely feel free to pop up and we'll have a conversation about it, because he is not a dictator. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, anyway. If you think that he is, pop up. We will have a conversation about it. It's an open queue at the moment, so you'll be the first person there, whatever else. But yeah. So Trump is saying, like, oh, that, like, he got all of these sorts of, like, he actually said billions, whereas, you know, I presume he meant millions of funding and military equipment and all of this sort of stuff to Ukraine. But you see, the thing about it is, why affirming for minors? Well, why not affirming for minors? Because minors experience gender dysphoria. Like, there are trans youth, so that would be why, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's definitely kind of wild. Anyway, yeah, should they not wait until 18 at least to medically medically speaking? Yeah, probably. But like, socially or even like hormonally, no, absolutely not. Trump and Vance were an absolute disgrace. They owe Zelensky an apology for shaming him. Yeah, absolutely. 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 Look, I mean, Donald Trump and Putin were having meetings like themselves about the kind of peace negotiations and stuff like that, like all of these sorts of things. They were having those discussions and Zelensky wasn't even in the room. Like, how can you possibly have a peace talks or peace kind like any of these things to do with peace between two countries, and both countries are not even present for the fucking negotiations? This is ridiculous. This is literally fucking insane. So yeah, no, I like, it's just, I mean, it's just wild. Like, this is literally wild. I don't necessarily think that, you know, I mean, like, this in and of itself is going to lead to World War III, but it's possible. It's possible that it kind of, you know, it was maybe like the starting point or like the first thing that happened that then like snowballed into, you know, this. The person, I'm so sorry guys, like, I mean, like, there is no name to call you, at least not here anyway, who is asking me about kind of gender affirming care. If you want to pop up and we'll have a conversation about it, 100%, let's go, you know. Is the abortion thing like you is like that you should be able to abort up until 9 months? Yes. That's going to get into like the definitions of what an abortion technically is, and we can absolutely get into that, but yeah, look, again, yes, as I was literally there addressing you, if you want to pop up, absolutely pop up and we will have a conversation, you know, because like, after all, that is what we are here for. We're here for debates. So yeah, there's a good few people in the TikTok live at the moment. If you can, please like the live, share it out if you can at all. And if you're watching it and you're looking at all of the prompts and you're thinking to yourself, I know somebody who would disagree with that and who would come up and debate, please do share it out, because that's what we're here for. We're here for debates, not arguing, just genuinely curious at all. I mean, yeah, so like, there are like, obviously there are different types of abortions, right? And like there are like different like methods to it. There are two that I know of that are employed after the kind of 24 weeks, or that's what at least I'm kind of comfortable with, that aims at kind of saving the life of that pregnancy. But it's but yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of where I'm at. Okay, so Steve says that the Elon thing is a reach. He just spent 3 hours doing Rogan, where he did touch on it, reaching. I mean, oh god, do I want to kind of suffer through watching 3 hours of Joe Rogan and Elon Musk together talking about this? Look, I mean, you can call it reaching. You can absolutely call it reaching. I mean, if you want to. I don't personally think it was reaching at all. I think that he knowingly did exactly what we all saw him do. And the reason that I think that is because, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And I will say that until I watch the Rogan thing, he has never denied that that's what it was. Everybody else was calling it a Roman salute. He never even said it was a Roman salute. He didn't even talk about it at all. So yeah, a little bit kind of weird there to say. It's fairly obvious it's the same though. Yeah, absolutely. When it comes from the horse's mouth, what else do you want? I mean, like, but you see, the thing about it is, right? The thing about it is, Steve, people lie. You know, I mean, especially when like the entire fucking internet has been talking about this, and when everybody has an opinion on what it was. Like, you're gonna talk about it at some point, but if you also are self-aware enough to realize that it is not exactly great for your public image, you're gonna probably lie about it, right? I mean, it's a possibility is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's a possibility. Am I Irish? Yes, I am. Christ is king, says, bruh, this can't be real. It is, in fact, real life. I don't know if you're... I don't know to what exact point you're kind of talking about. You don't care about Trump or Elon, but those other two are insane. Pop up. We'll have a conversation. If Elon Musk addresses every accusation, the man wouldn't get much done. Don't do shit that maybe gets the internet talking about you in that sort of light. Because, look, you see, the thing about it is, there are plenty of other famous people. There are plenty of other people who are in the public eye. There are plenty of other people who are doing rallies, who are doing speeches, who are doing all of these sorts of things, who don't have those accusations levied against them. That's the kind of point of what I'm talking about. The last two statements tell us everything we need to know. I mean, okay, like if you're that kind of small-minded, sure, maybe it does tell you everything you need to know, but okay. Obviously, you're not American. We don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. Get the fuck off my life. What the fuck? Like, if you don't care what I think, then why are you here? Bro said murder all 9 months is okay. That is absolutely not what I said. And if you disagree with me, pop up. We are here to have conversations. That's what we're here for. If you want to have a conversation about this stuff, 100%, please do pop up. Triggered much? No, absolutely not. I mean, if you actually think that I was triggered over that, like, the fuck. And then Rachel says, lady, you care enough to listen and comment. Absolutely. I mean, you're clearly still here from the first comment and you heard everything that I said. So you clearly care enough to hear what I want to say. The fact that you've stayed and you haven't taken my advice and fucked the fuck off. That's, you know... Sugar Much, why are we talking about America? Because what America does basically dictates what the rest of the world not does, but what like it allows, and like what like their like it sets a precedent for what is going to happen worldwide. Oh my god, absolutely. Thank you so much for the heart me. Genuinely, really, that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Bro's full of anger. No, I am absolutely not. I am literally not full of anger. Dude, I don't know what like you guys are fucking talking about. Like if you honestly think that this is angry, I don't know what to say to you guys. It's really weird. All 9 months. Guys, pop up. Please, somebody pop up so we can talk about it. It is a prompt. It is to talk about these sorts of things at length. It is to get some ideas going. Keep up the great work. Absolutely, genuinely, thank you. You live in Ireland, not the USA. Yeah, this shit affects everybody, the entire world over. Stop cursing, you're gonna make me cry. I'm Irish, get over it. It's part of my dialogue. Okay, so we have the first person here. I'm going to accept it right now. So I'm obviously going to be taking a little bit of a break just from reading the kind of comments and stuff like that. But yeah, we're going to get into the first caller of the night. And we'll see how we go. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Howdy. I'm John. I'm 20. He, him.
Okay, and which point do you want to debate about?
So let's see. I agree. Definitely dislike Donald Trump a lot. Elon definitely did that salute. So when it comes to gender affirming care for minors, you know, I'm generally a very liberal person. And so I assume we agree on the age of consent. It should be, you know, 18. You can't, you know, consent to sex when you're under 18 because you don't have like the mental facilities for that, right?
Well, I mean, look, it's not that I necessarily disagree. I mean, if I was making the rules for it, would I make it 18? Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously different countries have like different ages and stuff like that. Like, and I mean, like some of them are a little bit fucked up, but I mean, you know, most of them I think are probably like okay. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we can definitely kind of go with 18 as a yeah.
Sure. So when it comes to like the gender affirming care for minors, like, eh, so we agree they can't make a single sexual decision, but we allow them to make the biggest sexual decision of their life before they're 18.
Well, they're
Like,
not making it.
well, if they choose to go through with surgery or hormone blockers, like that does permanently affect their life.
In what way? Because puberty blockers are entirely reversible. So, in what way does it affect their lives?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know the science, but I can't imagine that puberty blockers have no negative effects, even if you want to reverse them. I mean,
Okay,
there's just no
so
way. That's like,
I mean, like they're like our side. I mean, like there are side effects to everything. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're taking Nurofen for a headache. There's like possibly a side effect to it, right? So I mean, like there is like absolutely no sort of like medication or drug or anything else like that that has no side effects. The main kind of side effects that we've seen from people who have taken puberty blockers who have then gone off of them is that they are maybe kind of like an inch to 2 inches shorter than they otherwise kind of maybe would have been. There is kind of like delayed puberty, so then obviously puberty, I mean, hits them like a truck when they go off of them. Then again, I mean, like you're also, if you are prescribed puberty blockers, you are only on them for 12 to 24 months, and that's at a maximum. You then go off of them. So I mean, like this is only kind of like at a max case, this is 2 years that you are taking them.
interesting. Yeah, no, I didn't know that science. But like back to my premise of we don't allow children to make sexual decisions. So why are we allowing them to make the largest sexual decision of their life? You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
Like,
as I
I'm all
said,
for being
they're
supportive
they're
and
not
being
making
like
it though.
whatever, but like with the permanent stuff, I mean, at some level, they and their parents are making that choice. I mean, that's
Well, no, it would be their parents who recognize the early signs, who then take them to doctors, who then take them to people who are like who specialize in recognizing gender dysphoria and all of these. I mean, like this is like a years long process, and it is only then eventually at the advice of the doctors and of the parents themselves that they will then make the decision for the child. This is not the child making it for themselves. This is like the adults in their lives making it for them.
okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. So do you think like a 4-year-old, if a 4-year-old wanted, to transition and all the like you and do bottom surgery, for example, like would you be okay with that? A 4-year-old saying like,
Nobody.
oh, I want to be a boy, right? So there is
Okay.
an age.
Just
There is an age,
just
right?
hang on just slightly, just a slight timeout. Name one example where that has ever happened ever in any country.
So I can't. I know specifically, literally in my town, I believe it was like a 10 to 12-year-old that transitioned. So I mean that's
Well, I mean, like
just
that would be a social transition. That would be them changing their like phenotypic expression of their gender. That would not be like any
so children
class of
don't get
surgery.
surgery.
So top surgery is sometimes kind of performed, kind of like 16 to 17. Bottom surgery is almost exclusively reserved for 18 plus.
Oh, interesting. I actually didn't know that. That seems reasonable. Yeah, no, and I'm definitely of the school of thought where like the government shouldn't the decision should be between the healthcare provider, the parents, and the child. The government should not have a role in the decision. But like I don't know. I think it's definitely worth I don't know, setting some guidelines around it. Like I would say those irreversible sexual decisions need to be treated the same in a way as having sex.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
As in, we agree children can't consent to sex, but we are, bending the rules when it comes to changing their sex.
Well, it's not changing their sex, it's changing their gender. You cannot alter your chromosomes, you cannot alter your kind of DNA, but you can absolutely alter your gender. 100% you can.
Right. Okay, so I guess we agree
just,
more than I thought.
Just for kind of like example, right? If you had, if I asked you to define what a man was, right, and like what a man looks like, you might say that it's someone who has kind of like shortish hair, right, who has a full beard and who is like a big burly, they're covered in muscles, they're like your like stereotypical kind of like bodybuilder stuff, right? I fit maybe some of those categories, right? I'm bald, but I have a beard, and I am absolutely not jacked as fuck. So simply just because you define, like, my kind of point is, if I was to fit all of those categories, though, right, but I shaved off my beard, which I'm never going to do, but if I did, would I that like if your criteria was that that's all that a man is and that's all that a man looks like, you could argue that I am changing my gender, like phenotypic expression. You could argue that. I know that that's not what you're doing, but like you absolutely could argue that. And so like it is, the point is that I mean, like, if you talk to trans people, as I have, I'm obviously not kind of speaking for them or anything else, but like, they have said that, like, from an incredibly young age, they knew that, like, maybe not that they were like trans, but they knew that, like, something was up, that like the stuff that like other kind of boys will say did that they just had no interest in, and that like they were more so kind of aligned with like the kind of like feminine gender expressions and all of these sorts of things, right? So like this is absolutely known by them from an incredibly young age, but that doesn't mean that the decision is made by them. It's because it's not. But I think that you kind of agreed on that eventually, so
Yeah, no, I do think we generally agree. And then on to the abortion all 9 months thing. So I honestly don't even know what I think about abortion sometimes. Like, I do at the end of the day think you are, murdering something. Like you are killing a child like that. But I do think it should be legal and accessible. When it comes to all 9 months, I mean, are you talking, I mean, like, 10 minutes before birth? Like, I guess.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, it depends on how you define abortion, right? So, I mean, like when we are talking about a medical procedure, which is what it is, I go by the Harvard Medical Dictionary, which essentially says that it is the expulsion of the contents of the uterus. So that's all that an abortion is. So you could otherwise kind of define it as like the ending of a pregnancy, not necessarily the termination of a pregnancy, because I think that word carries the like weight of what people kind of typically think of like the, it's like ending the life of the fetus, right? But if you give birth, you cease to be pregnant, so that pregnancy has ended, right? Now you are talking about a like healthy pregnancy, a healthy delivery, everything else like that, right? That you intended to bring it to term, you're gonna bring it up, and it's gonna be absolutely fucking amazing. It's gonna be class president because you're a kick-ass man. That is still the ending of a pregnancy. That pregnancy has ceased. So when we are talking, so my kind of basic cutoff line is at 24 weeks. And why is it 24 weeks? And it's because that is when kind of sentience seems to, like, that's when we know that like that being is sentient, right? That it has awareness. So anything after that, it would be kind of, non-lethal forms of abortion, which absolutely exist. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, like that would be my kind of criteria on it. If you take issue with anything else, with anything that I've said there, sure, we can talk about it then.
Yeah, so what do you mean by non-lethal abortion after 24 weeks? What's the
So,
implication
I
there?
mean, it would be basically kind of, so like we'll say that this happens at like 26 weeks, right? So the pregnancy would end. They would take the baby out and they would put it into an incubator, and then it would be raised by the state and possibly go into like the foster industry or anything else like that. Something else could kind of happen. The point is that the end result is that the baby lives.
Okay. So you are morally against like um, terminating the pregnancy after, say 24 weeks or whatever.
Yes, because sentience is what I
Okay.
care about. I don't care about anything else.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, I just find it interesting how people draw that line. Like, conception, then there's heartbeat and brain waves, and yeah, I don't know. So I would agree with you there. Honestly, I thought you meant all 9 months, meaning you
Yeah.
could abort the
No,
child
look,
regardless of like a
I mean,
medical.
I obviously kind of had that, and I worded it in that way to kind of get people up and kind of have like conversations and stuff like that. Like, but like, I kind of just think that after people kind of hear out the like total argument and stuff like that, like it's kind of, I think that an awful lot of people who maybe initially were totally against it would agree even to a point, right? That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I wasn't
Anyway,
even
that's
aware of
what I
that.
think.
Yeah, yeah, no, abortion's a really tough one, honestly.
Yeah, no, look, true. Yeah, look, I think we're having a little bit too much agreement and stuff like that. So look, I definitely, absolutely thank you for popping up. Yeah, you can kind of stick around, have a chat in the live chat and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to move on to the next caller there. Okay,
Yeah, no, I appreciate the conversation. See you, man.
no problem at all, man. Have a good night. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
I don't have pronouns. I'm just female, a woman.
Well, you said I, and I is a pronoun, so you clearly do.
Look, I'm just a female. Simple as that. Okay. I'm a woman. End of story. My name is Jane. Thank you.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm half a century old.
Okay. Okay. I take it you're here to debate.
Well, I mean, like you're advocating for transitioning. You do know what stage 4 cancer does to a body.
I'm sorry? You cut out a little bit there?
You do know what stage 4 cancer drugs do to a body.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, that's what they use as a means of, taking back puberty as puberty blockers. So you're okay with
I'm
giving
sorry?
stage 4 cancer drugs. You're okay with giving stage 4 cancer drugs to teenagers
Wait.
who are
Whoa.
gender
Hang on.
identity
Hang on.
dysphoria.
Just a very, very, very quick timeout. You think that people give chemotherapy as a
No,
form
not
of
chemotherapy. Stage
Okay,
4
so then what
cancer
sort
drugs.
what sort of like drugs would you be talking about?
Drugs that they use for people that are in the last stages of cancer. Okay? They're what used for puberty blockers. Yeah? So you're okay with that happening to young people, which causes blood clots, which causes major problems with their entire bodily function. And you're okay with that, yeah? Just to rescind their puberty.
Yeah, so typically the most common, I had to quickly Google this obviously because I don't know this shit just like off hand. The most common type of puberty blockers that are given is Lupron, which like the like most common side effect is that you like possibly lose like an inch or two off of like your like predetermined height, but I mean like that's like pretty much it. There are like minimum to almost zero side effects.
That's absolute rubbish.
Well, I'm sorry that the medical consensus disagrees with you and agrees with
Well,
me,
medical
but
consensus, so yeah, that's why Helen McAtee's husband, who's the CEO of one of the major corporational pharmaceutical companies in this country was pushing for stage 4 cancer drugs being used as puberty blockers in the United States. And, you know, you really want to do a deep dive into the whole thing, because it's not just what you're being told by the media. It's a hell of a lot more than that. And it's in regards to gender identity dysphoria, that is a mental health issue. It is not a question of transitioning people into people that they cannot be. You are born either a male or a female. That's it. That's the end of the story.
No, I'm sorry. That's just completely not true. Gender dysphoria, I mean, like, it like literally can't be classed as a mental illness because it's curable. A mental illness is not curable. Somebody who has schizophrenia can be treated, but not cured. You cannot cure schizophrenia. You cannot cure Alzheimer's. You cannot cure fucking bipolar. You cannot cure any of these things. You cannot cure any of these things.
They have absolutely nothing got to do with who you are as a person. Nothing to do with your gender.
I would disagree that it's nothing to do with who you are as a person. It has nothing to do with your gender. That I agree with you on, but it is absolutely something to do with your person.
As a person, where your gender is concerned, it has absolutely zero to do with that. Yeah, and as for abortion at all 9 months, you need a head check. If you think 24 weeks, as in 6 months, is okay, considering you don't have a uterus, yeah, I think you kind of push yourself out of that category and making a comment even in that stature.
Okay. So 24 weeks is when we know that sentience occurs with a fetus, and before that it is literally non-sentient. It might as well not exist, so I don't care about it.
All right. So a heartbeat that starts at 6 weeks, yeah, a brain forming, all functions of
all before liver, sentience. It's all before sentience. Yeah. Go down the list. Go down the list. Zero. All the organs. Yeah. All of them. Yeah. Yes. 100%. It means absolutely. It means absolutely nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing to me because it doesn't have sentience.
You never will. You've never carried a child, and you never will.
Never will. Yeah, absolutely. But that still doesn't mean that I can't talk about this fucking topic. I'm not American either. It doesn't mean that I can't talk about US politics.
You're a man talking about a woman's body in regards to her carrying a child. And you have no...
I'm not trans either. That doesn't mean that I can't defend trans people. It doesn't mean that I can't talk about trans rights. It doesn't mean that I can't talk about gender affirming care. Just because you are not part of a fucking community doesn't mean you can't talk about it. What the hell is wrong with you?
Goddamn penis, do I?
What
like, tell you what to do with your penis. Do I? No, I fucking don't. So I'm sorry. But
I'm not telling you what to do with your body.
To make a goddamn comment about a woman's body and how her body functions, and in regards to her carrying.
All right, okay. You're way too emotional and everything else. You're not fucking debating in any way even close to good faith. So we're just cutting that short. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Nade, 23. I'm female. So she, her pronouns.
Okay, what are you here to debate about?
I think that Donald Trump will ruin the United States is a little bit misleading. I think the United States is already ruined.
Okay, you're a little bit... I heard parts. You're a little bit muffled there, so I just kind of like missed the end bit there. Do you want to just say that again?
I think Donald Trump is not going to ruin the United States because the United States is already ruined.
Okay. Why do you think that?
I think from the way we even functioned or created our Constitution, it was never made to support the United States people, and it is now just being exploited to the extreme. I feel like even after our Civil War, the way that we handled the South and the Confederates allowed for this to happen, and this was always in the making. In the United States, the South always said they were going to rise again. They always said they were going to come back, and we never truly handled that issue with racism, nor did we ever handle the issue of slavery. We instead restructured slavery and continued it, and now it's gotten out of hand. But it was always in the making.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sorry. I just kind of fundamentally disagree. I mean, like, we had kind of gotten to a point. I mean, like, look, obviously I'm kind of like an outsider looking in, right? But look, do I think that Obama like ended racism in the US? Of course not. It was always there, and it was there throughout his entire presidency. And realistically, he probably should have done more to kind of deal with it, right? But I mean, it was kind of seen as that like that like the level of kind of like open and like unapologetic kind of racism that you are now seeing, and the like unapologetic like kind of bigotry, and the character of Trump. Like, if you'd have said to me when Obama was president first that you were eventually going to get a character like Trump not only kind of go up the ranks in politics but achieve presidency twice, I mean, I would have laughed in your face. There was just no way would that have kind of happened. Now look, you can say that that's a little bit of ignorance because I'm not there, and I am literally just an outsider looking in. But I think that if you were to even ask like an awful lot of Americans, which I have in my YouTube audience, and I'll ask them right now, did you honestly think that a character like Trump was going to rise to be president twice? That's a question for them. But I just fundamentally disagree that this was like predetermined in a way, and this was always going to happen.
So the 14th Amendment makes slavery legal if you have committed a crime in the United States. So directly after slavery, they made not having a job if you were a Black American a crime. They have been criminalizing whoever they want to use as free labor. We have a large for-profit prison labor system. This has always been a thing. Now, when people say things like, I've never seen it, it's usually because it's happening to specific communities. Poor white Americans in the South have always known about this prison pipeline. So have African Americans. As it's grown and the United States population has grown, we now need more people, so it affects more people. But disenfranchised groups in the United States have always been living like this. We have always been dealing with this, and we have always known about this. In the communities, a lot of Southern communities which don't have a lot of publicity, which are always seen as like hillbillies and all these other kind of slurs because they're just seen as ignorant, these type of crimes have been consistently going on. In fact, a lot of people were fearful of a Black president because, number one, that was going to incite them to more violence because how dare he get to be president, number one. And number two, we were expecting a person like Trump to happen because we knew that it was going to be a severe backlash to thinking that he could even do that. When Barack Obama got elected, they were literally making like puppets of him and hanging it. So this is not something. Exactly. So it's not like we didn't know these people were there. They were there, and when he became elected, it incited them to another level of violence because they wanted to keep Black people as second-class citizens, and they had succeeded in doing that with the police system. Now, women's rights is a bit more talked under Donald Trump, but that is because I believe, and this is what I do believe, that women were segregated also due to race. And when they abandoned Black women and Black women's rights, they also kind of abandoned their own. Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying. I mean, like, just like a slight kind of point, and we're backtracking slightly now, but when those kind of puppets were kind of hung up of Obama and stuff like that, like, I distinctly remember kind of hearing about that and kind of, it like being in kind of conversation and stuff like that. But the point that like I was kind of getting at, that like I just never saw this happening, and my US audience has answered and did absolutely not see this coming. But it was always the kind of case of, well, it's not excusable. Obviously, it is not excusable, but it was seen as that, like, that's the racist minority, and that they were never going to kind of get to a point where they were being propped up by a candidate. I mean, like, let alone like actual president. So, like, that was the kind of point I think that I was kind of getting at.
But that we call them a minority due to the way that our news networks in the United States work. We call them a minority because a lot of our major cities are Democratic, but a major city is like one in a state. When you look at who elected Trump, you can see it's vastly most of our country, but that is not, to quote unquote, the majority in the same way. Well, it's almost 50-50, but they're more spread out. So what I'm saying is, African Americans and people of color in these communities that are quote unquote smaller. I'm not talking about New York City. I'm not talking about California. I'm not even talking about, you get what I'm saying, these big states. No, we all knew this in Kansas, Oklahoma, North Dakota. We all knew this. In Florida, we absolutely knew this. We still have sundown towns. We have towns where Black people are not even allowed in them. So this minority is what they like to call it, because they call it the silent majority too, because that's who elects Republicans every time. We always say there's such a small minority, but then they come out and they outvote you. So how small has this minority ever been? It's never been small. And I would also argue that with what Ronald Reagan was allowed to do with the hypercriminalization, his war on drugs, his mass mass imprisonment, Ronald Reagan is Trump's grandfather in a way. Like, when they allowed Ronald Reagan, we should have known something like Trump was coming.
Yeah, but yeah, I do agree
Because
with you
Ronald
there.
Reagan
Yeah.
did a lot more than just racism. He got rid of so many of our social programs. United States used to have nearly free college. Our state colleges were funded through taxes and they were free. He didn't like how many Black people were going to the California college when he was he was like something in California. When he was over California, he didn't like as many Black people and liberals were in the schools. So he added costs to go to the schools. All these other states went and sued. He cut our social programmings. He is what moved us so far right. And I would also argue in the United States that even our liberals are very right. While in places like Europe, they're fighting for free healthcare. We're fighting for things like way more basic. They're not fighting for free healthcare really. And when people in America do fight for free healthcare, we look at them like they're crazy. And that's what happened with Sanders. I forget his first name. So this country, Bernie Sanders, this country is so far right that even our most leftist politicians are all moderate. And that is exactly why they view the extreme racists as a minority, because racism is our constant. Does that make sense? So we only really want to count the extremes, but casual racism, we do that every day, and we're okay with that every day. And the casual racists have always voted Republican.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I like definitely don't, I don't 100% disagree with you. I mean, like, there are like parts, but I mean, it's so fucking nitty gritty. Like, it's just not kind of even worth getting into them. Harlem, by the way, thank you so much for the gifts. I know that some of them went to the guests, but you know, even still, thank you for the gifts. Yeah, God. Okay. Just to kind of get into what you were kind of said. So yeah, no, I mean, like, I definitely didn't expect this, and an awful lot of people definitely didn't expect this. But to kind of say that, yeah, just to kind of say that, like, it was predetermined in a way. I understand what you're saying about that. Reagan was like kind of like his grandfather. I'd never actually thought about it in that way. That's actually very, very interesting. And yeah, I mean, like, Reagan was like an actor and stuff like that, and so he wasn't like a politician, and that kind of, maybe you can kind of say that kind of paves the way for like a non-politician kind of getting into politics and stuff like that. But like, just the idea that, like, I completely and totally, like, with no notes, agree with what you said about the Overton window in the US being pushed so far to the right that, I mean, both Biden, Kamala Harris, and Bernie are all called both socialists and communists, which are completely and utterly different things. But you know, an awful lot of people don't either know the difference or care on the difference. But so yeah, but I mean, like, you like look at the policies that they're for, and I mean, like, it's not that they couldn't be further apart, but they're pretty far apart. So to say that the both of them are all in the same camp of kind of socialism, I mean, Jesus Christ, like, I wish I am a socialist, so I wish that they were. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling almost to find a point of disagreement to kind of hone in on.
This country was ruined from the start. Our constitution was written flawed. The 14th Amendment added the biggest loophole for slavery, and slavery in a capitalistic country is the best means of making money. Why would I pay people to do something if I can find labor for free? All I have to do is convict them of a crime and I can have them do my labor for free. We literally have our prisoners working out of McDonald's. Like, the prison makes a contract with McDonald's and the prisoners go there and they serve you your burgers for free.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I don't disagree with you. I think that the idea that the prison system is like essentially kind of forcing people to engage in kind of free labor, I find that absolutely abhorrent. I mean, like, I think it's like, what is it, like the vast majority of like military helmets or something like that is like an overwhelming majority. I think it's more than 75% of them are made by inmates. I think that's absolutely horrible. You know, and like, again, it is a system that should have been fixed long before now. Yeah, like, again, I don't disagree with you.
A system that should be fixed. What I'm saying is it's not going to be fixed because it's operating the way it was made to operate. The way the United States even runs its elections with the Electoral College. Trump did not win the majority vote the first time he was elected, but he won the Electoral College. All of this was made so that they could always find a puppet to put up in the United States. I believe that every person, like almost every president, is a puppet put up in the United States. That's why even like, yes, their policies may differ on small things, but when it comes to the money, their policies don't differ that much. What Democrats spend their money on and what Republicans spend their money on don't differ. We never stop going to war just because we have a quote unquote Democratic president versus a Republican president. Look at things like, I don't know if I can say the word, but GAZA. When we have a Democratic president, do we stop doing these things? No. Do we have a Republican president? Do we stop doing these things? Absolutely not. Like, when it comes to the money, they're spending it on the same thing. And then they try to argue to us or make these puppet arguments to us that, oh, look, on this social end, I agree with this social end, but I don't agree with this social end. I don't think either of them really care, because even under Barack Obama, he could have codified so many things while he had his 8 years so we wouldn't have to fight for these rights, and he didn't. He could have codified our abortion rights. He could have codified things like he did. Now, he absolutely did codify the marriage thing, but even they're going to overturn that, which is sad. But yeah, he did codify one thing, but he could have codified all that so it wouldn't be up for debate and up for argument, but they don't. And then they hold it over our heads every election saying, if you don't elect Democrat, then you're going to lose your rights. Well, why don't you ensure that I don't lose my rights? If we truly believe that Trump is what Democrats say he is, they should have never handed the election to him. They should be doing what Trump did when he was about to get kicked out of office with Biden. They literally stormed our Capitol. You should have that same intensity if you believe he's about to overthrow our country. And that's why I kind of feel like they're on the same team. So I can't say that Donald Trump ruined this. I think our entire government ruined this. And I think they're honestly just laundering money from the U.S. population at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, almost no notes. I don't disagree with you at all. Yeah, like, I guess, I mean, like by the prompt of like Donald will ruin the US, I like it's maybe more kind of accurate to say that like he's absolutely not going to make it better, and if anything he's just going to make it worse. Like, he's going to make all of the kind of problems that you were kind of seeing, not just socially, but you know, economically and fiscally and all of these sorts of things, that he's going to make those issues worse. I mean, like, in the grander kind of scheme of things, I guess it's kind of more of like a minor point, I guess. Yeah, like, I don't know. You aren't finding much kind of disagreement here. You are definitely in the comments. I'm kind of looking at them as you are talking. There are people in there who disagree with, well, I guess us now at the moment. So yeah, like, again, yeah, it's kind of it's not weird, but it's definitely unusual that I have this much agreement in a debate. But I don't disagree with you, like, pretty much, like, at all. or if I do, they're only very, very minor things.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that we agree, but Donald Trump is just a puppet. I don't really think he believes anything he says. He says whatever he needs to control that minority that the world thinks is here, but it's really the majority. And they follow him blindly because he's their only hope. And just like all other Americans, they're starving, they're hungry, they're unemployed, and they're just looking for any sort of hope to get out of their position. They're looking for any reason. We have lost so many industries in the United States, and these are where a lot of these blue collar workers were. And so losing their jobs, they're willing to point the finger at anybody. Let that be immigrants, let that be Black people, let that be women, just anybody to justify their own suffering here in this country.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I don't have any sort of disagreements. Yeah, no, look, I mean, like, this has been like a really, really, really kind of interesting conversation. It's not very often that I like legitimately, not necessarily change my mind, but have my view kind of altered. It's genuinely not very often that happens, and it definitely has happened now. So yeah, no, look, I will definitely just and like let you go, but I have followed you. You are like genuinely super, super interesting to talk to. If I ever kind of figure out like the like audio issues with like echoing and stuff like that, like it could be definitely kind of interesting, like if you wanted to pop up, like we'll say, like as well. But yeah, no, I would just say, just kind of like, thank you for popping up and thank you for the conversation. It has genuinely been interesting, and yeah, I hope you have a really, really good rest of your day.
Bye.
Thanks again. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Hello, my name's Harlem. I'm 25, he, him.
Wonderful. What are you here to debate?
Donald will ruin the U.S. I think today was a real eye-opening experience with him in the Oval Office with President Zelensky.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a foreign policy hawk, but I do kind of try to understand the geopolitics of the world. And if he is playing so into the hand of Putin and the Russian game plan, right, that he can't even see it. And he has lost the point so much that he's literally yelling at a president, over talking a president of a foreign country in the Oval Office in front of cameras. Now, I'm not like, no president has never yelled at another world leader in that room.
Well,
Probably have.
Yeah, but like
a dozen times.
Yeah, but in that way and to that scale, yeah.
In front of cameras. Like, it's crazy. Donald Trump, the only reason Donald Trump exists, because I call it, and it is called drain the pool politics, right? The idea that I'm going to deprive myself of something just in order for other people not to have it. And I'll give you an example, right? So, when integration happened in the South, right? One thing that integrated was public pools, right? And there was a lot of white people who didn't want to share their pools with black people who could now be a part of these pools. Because there's actually cases of when a black girl put her foot inside of a pool and they drained the pool because her foot was in it, right?
Yeah.
So this is also why we see country clubs pop up at such alarming rates in the South in particular, right? Every county almost has a country club because they could build the pool over there, right? And they can say, well, we're not saying you can't come in because you're black or Hispanic or whatever. You can't come in because you can't afford it, right? So they took the free thing that they had access to and destroyed it, right? So that they can still deny people things, right? And I think Donald Trump is the antithesis of this. I think that these people are tired of seeing other groups of people that they're suffering in their own lives, right? Whether they can't afford groceries, or their kids can't get jobs, or they can't afford houses, right? And they're seeing black people, Hispanic people, people of color going to college, getting the careers that they used to get, all these different things, and they think in their minds that it's their fault. It's those people of color's fault that they're not succeeding anymore. Donald Trump is speaking to the worst segment of our country, right? He divides. He makes people want to view their common man as subhuman. He has said subhuman about whole groups of people. MAGA people literally I do not think they generally care about the other side, right? I'm upset with MAGA, right? I'm sorry, I'm ranting. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Okay. I disagree with MAGA on a whole host of points, right? But I would never advocate for things to happen to these people, right? I generally want people to live in a functional, stable society that helps everybody thrive equally, right? But MAGA, they literally have an out for certain groups of people, segments of the whole population, whether that's transgender people or gay people or immigrants. They generally want to get rid of. I've even heard MAGA pundits say they want to eradicate transgenderism, right? That is harmful.
Yeah.
And if you cannot realize that, that's sad.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, yeah, like, I think that, like, look, everything that you, like, just said, I don't have, like, basically any sort of issues with. I guess, like, just kind of, if you were to kind of cast ourselves into the future just for, like, a second, right? So, on the hypothetical, right, that they do deport every single immigrant, right, and they you know, get rid of trans people, and they make gay being illegal, so it's not like in the kind of public eye anymore, right? And they do all of these things, right? Like all of these sorts of, like, going back in history type of things. If they do all of them, when all
Bring
of the problems,
patriarchy back.
when all of the problems that were staring them in the face are still there, well, what then?
They'll find someone else.
You know, no, but I mean, like, literally, just what then? Who do they blame it on then? Because so far they've been blaming it on immigrants, they've been blaming it on trans people, they've been blaming it on, you know, the woke, which they don't understand what that means. They've been blaming it on DEI, which is just a new form of fucking racism, by the way. They've been blaming it on all of these kind of marginalized groups of people. But what, like, if they do succeed in their agenda in getting rid of all of them, the problems are still going to be there, because they haven't addressed any of them. So, like, what happens then? You know?
Exactly. And this is also what I think. What I'm gonna say your name wrong, Nade, but I think what she said earlier about Donald Trump, that Ronald Reagan was Donald Trump's grandfather in many ways, right? It's so true, and I had never thought about that also. But when she said it, it all clicked in my head, right? Because we have progressively seen the right start skirting closer and farther from the center, right? And in order to continue to maintain their base in like breadbasket states, right? Like the Mid East, Democrats have tried to push themselves farther center, right? That they're even screwing into the right. We have to realize what is happening here. This is capitalism pure and simple. It is not race that makes it harder for you to live. It is capitalism.
Yeah.
Capitalism is why your kids can't buy that house. Capitalism is why there's no good jobs. Capitalism is why eggs are high. Capitalism makes sure that your paycheck goes to bare necessities every month. These things are happening because the rich in this country are using it as a trough, and they are gluttons. They constantly gobble and gobble and gobble away, and they tell people, and then they tell their politicians who are in their pocket to tell you, the MAGAs and the people who blame all these people, that it's not our fault that you're feeling this pain. It's because you're competing with all these other people. It speaks to that idea so deeply ingrained. And I wish some MAGA people would learn about history, because this is why they broke up the unions in the South during Reconstruction, right? Because white small farmers, right, were starting to band together with black sharecroppers, and they were going to form unions throughout the South. We see the wealthy landowners break up these unions, and this is where these ideas of competition starts coming. Yes, you're poor, but at least you're better than the black guy, right? You might be poor, but you're white, so that's still better.
Yeah, no, look, I mean,
No,
yeah, I don't have any sort of disagreements or anything else.
Zay's in the comments, you don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter. I'm like
Yeah, he's
literally a
actually
history minor.
up next. By the way, he
Yeah.
has requested he's going to be up next. But yeah, no, look, I mean, absolutely, like, genuinely, thank you for popping up. Do me a favor, actually, comment down in the live chat, because as soon as you do, I'm going to follow you, because, you know, absolutely fucking based opinions and everything
Thank
else.
you. And can I say like 2 sentences about Elon doing that?
Yeah, sure.
Two things, right? First of all, for Republicans who claim to want to be like the greatest generation, right? They say we need to be more like the greatest generation, those guys who fought World War II. Well, guess what? The greatest generation wouldn't stand in a rally and watch a man do that salute and say it was a Roman salute. They will beat him off of the stage because they fought. Their husbands, their brothers, their family members died in trenches in Europe just to save the world from fascism, and they will never allow that man to do that on that stage. So I need y'all to stop trying to act like you want to be like the greatest generation, because they don't want you guys to be like that either.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, again, fucking preach, you know, not a single note. But
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Have an absolutely amazing rest of your day, and
yeah, I'm gonna start coming into your lives too, because I like your format.
No problem at all. But look, anyway, thank you so much for popping up. Yeah, I hope to talk soon. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on. My name is Zajan. I'm 33, and I'm a dude. So, self-explanatory.
Right. Okay. What are you here to debate?
Well, anything that you have on this list, I wouldn't mind debating you. Could I start off with the Donald Trump will ruin the U.S.?
Sure.
All right. So, earlier, and I don't want to use the last guy's words, Harlem, shout out to coming into the live. I don't want to use his words as your words, even though I see that y'all do agree. Overall, we didn't get to this scenario because of who the Republicans voted for. The guy that was in office last was not voted for by Republicans, he was voted for by Democrats. And when Joe Biden got into office, everything, all the prices were lower. Everything was somewhat manageable. Yes, we still had some debt. But before he got into office, Trump was in office the first time, and the debt was twice as high as it was, in the trillions. What I'm saying is that if he's going to ruin the country, why didn't he ruin it the first time he was in office?
Well, he in part, if not definitely, did. I mean, he deficit spent like it was his favorite thing to do. He put $2.4 billion of debt into the U.S. economy before COVID. It's 4.8 if you include COVID. I mean, like, you're like, almost every Republican has ran on cutting the debt, or like, you know, at least kind of lowering it down. He absolutely didn't. He added more to the national debt. Like, also, as has every other Republican president, by the way, because they have absolutely zero understanding of how economics works. I mean, like, Reagan is like the poster boy of like the elite of previous presidents. He invented trickle down economics, which has literally never been proven to have worked. Like, literally never. So, like, I don't know what to say to you.
Well, specifically speaking, what you just said was not true at all. Donald Trump did the deficit was at the highest it's ever been under Obama after 8 years of his presidency. Okay. So that means that we automatically know that he had 2 terms, a full amount of time, more than most presidents get, to be able to fix it. He did not. It constantly increased. And when Trump got into office before COVID, which is the only reason that it went back up, because he was forced to make small businesses, not large businesses, but small businesses, family-owned businesses, shut down. That's going to increase on the spending for the regular American, because the regular American is not going to be able to go to the mom and pop shop that they support. The mom and pop shop is not going to be able to prosper, because now you can't be there, but with us, you can only operate within certain hours because of COVID. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people that say, even though I do kind of think this, that it was part of the not really the Democrats, but the liberals' plan to screw Trump's first presidency. Okay. But I'm not going to talk about that. All right. What I will say is the one man that was the president, every time he called it the Chinese virus, everybody was like, you can't say that. Why not? It came from China. And guess what we called the flu that was from Spain? The Spanish flu. What was wrong with that? Nothing. So what I'm saying is that we're in a day and age where liberals have invaded the Democratic Party, because I have Democrat friends and they don't abide by this liberal ideology. Okay. This liberal ideology is, oh, if you hurt my feelings, you are in the wrong. When at the end of the day, a fact is a fact. Okay. I'm not going to pull the Ben Shapiro facts don't care about your feelings, even though it's true. Feelings are not facts. Okay. And the reason that Trump won this last time is because the normal American person is tired of being told, this is what you have to say, this is what you have to do. And if you don't do that, you are a racist, you are a bigot, you are a liar, you are not worth having a say so. That's why Trump was voted into office. And what he's doing now is not off of his own whim. He said he would do these things while he ran. Okay. And the American people said, you know what? Do it, because we can't stand this liberal ideology anymore. I have no problem with trans people, okay? I'm like you. Live and let live. Do I agree with their lifestyle? Of course not. But it is not my life to live, so I cannot say otherwise.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, like, it's not a lifestyle, but
it is 100% a lifestyle, because in the 50s, it was shunned. Am I wrong or right? It is a lifestyle, just like doing drugs is a lifestyle. It is shunned. There is no straight Pride Month. There is no this picking and choosing between what we are going to put on a pedestal.
I mean, like, you
100%.
could absolutely argue that, like, almost the other 11 months of the year are straight Pride.
How could you argue that?
Like, if you want to go and make a straight Pride flag, fucking have at it, man. Have at it.
Well, then,
like that's your prerogative. If you want to do that, then go and do it.
but it
Yeah,
wasn't trans or gay people though that made the month. It was the government that made June the Trans Pride Month. Just like the government made Black History Month and gave Black people the shortest month of the year. Is that right? No, because we are Americans. We're not Black. We're not white. We're not trans. We're not straight. We're Americans. That's the point. We don't have a problem with different people. What we're saying is we're tired of being told I can't think the way I want to think because I don't think like you. That's the problem.
okay. We're just you're like the ball in a pinball machine. You're just going all fucking over the place. And there's just like so many kind of things to respond to. So okay, right. Let's just pin one thing down. The national debt when Obama got into office was just, I think it was just barely over like $1 trillion. He got it down to
It was above
400
3
billion.
trillion. Right. It was right below $1 trillion right when he got into office. That's
Yeah,
correct.
and he brought it down to about 400 billion. So he absolutely cut the
That's not
debt.
that is not true
That
because
is
when Trump got
absolutely
into
true.
office, it was
That's-
over 3 trillion.
That's absolutely true. I'm sorry, you
So-
had kind of said it earlier. Facts don't care about your feelings. If you're going to argue from
So what
fifis,
was
then
the
that's
debt when
fine.
Trump got into office?
I'm not 100% sure
The
of
first
those
term.
numbers off the top
So-
of my head, but
And I'm telling you that I'm not 100% sure what the numbers are right off the top of my head, but what I'm telling you is that Trump had $3 trillion worth of debt when he got into office the first time. That didn't come from him. It came from 8 years of Obama. That is a fact.
okay, well, I definitely don't think that is a fact because he absolutely did lower the debt. He like got it down to right around $400 billion. So I mean, like, how that kind of magically went back up to $3 trillion and like almost nobody was talking about that at the time because like even though I wasn't like as into politics roughly around the end of his term, I definitely was kind of there and I was aware of it and stuff like that. There was almost nobody fucking talking about this. But look, just okay. We'll try and just kind of pin down like a couple of things. Who won the 2020 election?
On paper, Biden did.
On paper, Biden did. So there is obviously there is obviously a different version that is not on paper when somebody else won. So who would that person be?
Yeah, well, no, because there's proof that we had people's dead dogs and dead family members voting, yet it
That
never
is
came up.
That
And
is
also, there's
absolutely
also
not true. That is
hold
absolutely
on.
not
Now
true.
listen
You're
to me.
completely
There's
arguing from
also
fifis.
truth. Now listen. You can't be like, yo, that's not true when you don't want to believe a fact. Like just how you told me. The fact is that we use the same voting machines that Iraq used when what's his name that we caught and killed under Obama's Saddam Hussein.
Dude, whoa, time out.
Now I
Time
can't
out.
tell you.
Your mic was all kind of muffled up and everything else. We could not hear a word you were saying.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So also during the first election, the second election, all right, this in 2020, it is proven that we used the same computer and the same programs that Iraq used when it was overthrown by Saddam Hussein and took office. And it is proven, all right, that those systems rig the election. Okay, it was proven for Iran.
So
and Iraq.
why did
But what I'm saying is,
Dominion win every single one of their court cases, and why did Fox News have to pay them billions?
simple, because the courts were paid for. But guess what? I'm
By
not going to
who?
sit here.
By who? Who are they paid for by?
The deep state, the ones that
The
run
deep state,
this.
right? So who
Yeah,
would they
that's
be?
the reason that Doge is investigating all of them now, because
So
they've had
so-
this power for 50
Oh,
years.
Who's the deep state? Can you like name somebody?
I can name the people that have benefited from the deep state. I can name, like, for instance,
that's not the question that I asked you though. I asked you the people
and
who
I
were
no,
in
I
the
answered your
deep state.
question. I said that I can name people that benefited from it.
Yeah, but
I can't name a specific person because it's deep.
But who's like orchestrating this though?
That would be like asking somebody who is in charge of the Freemasons. You're talking about an organization that has been steeped in secrecy for over half of a decade, probably even more. I'm sorry, not half a decade, but over half a century, probably even closer to a century. I mean, there's a reason that we've got politicians now that are going to jail.
That you like don't like.
So then you explain to me then how Trump law. All right, so hear me out. If Trump so legitimately lost the 2020 election, right? How did he have more votes? Exactly, right. Then how exactly did he have more votes in the second time he ran than the first time, but he still lost?
Wait, how did he have more votes in the first time than in the second?
No, in the second time. In 2020, when he ran, he had more votes in the second election than he had in the previous one.
Because Biden got more votes?
No. I'm saying Trump had more votes in the second election that he lost than he had total in the first election that he won. Explain that. That is a fact. You could seriously, I will wait for you to look it up. It's crazy.
Wait, so you're saying that Trump got more votes in 2020 than he got in 2016, but yet he still lost in 2020?
Yes. How does that make sense?
Because
our
Biden got more votes than him.
No. You're missing my point. As a population. All right. So you're saying that I asked you the question and you was like, because Biden got more votes. I'm like, what I asked you is if Trump barely won the first time, right? How did he lose with more votes the second time? He had almost 1 million more votes than he had the next time. That's not how our country doesn't add 1 million people every 4 years at minimum. That is not how that works. That is not how population growth works.
How many people voted in 2020?
Nah, I couldn't tell you that. I don't know off the top of my head.
It's super simple. You would add 81 and 76 and then add 1 million to the end of it.
How did we get 1 million more people into the U.S. is what I'm asking. How did 1 million more people show up just for one person?
Okay, let's break out the calculator for this. So we got 81 plus 76 is 157, right? You add million to that and you've got 157 million. How many people are currently in the US?
Shit, at this point it's probably right at 400 million.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe more.
I was going to go at about 360, but okay, no, you said 400 million, right? So let's go 400 million. That leaves 243 million people. So it's not necessarily that there was an extra million people added. It's just that more people voted. More people don't vote in your country than do vote.
So you think that so why would people vote? So if that's the case, then how come it's pretty steady all throughout every other election?
Because people consistently don't vote.
So now it's the people's fault that this is the way we are right now, like the situation
absolutely.
we're in.
Yes, 100%.
So you think overall that people didn't vote, and that's why he lost the second time, yet he had more voters, and the guy that beat him had more voters than the guy that ran against what was his name that ran against him the first in 2020?
Biden?
I can't remember his name. No, not Biden. The 2020 election was Biden and Trump. I'm talking about the first election where it was Trump and Hillary. Hillary, that's right. What I'm saying is there were more voters, not in and you can't just be like, well, people don't vote in your country. We're the only country that allows for a legitimate voting system. That's what I'm saying is these things we take into account.
But you argued against the method of voting not 5 minutes ago.
I'm not arguing against it. What I'm saying is,
Well,
okay, so that's like being like, okay,
did, though,
there's
because you said that the voting machines were the same ones that were used in Iraq. I mean, like,
and
I would be super, super careful, by the way, about like
it's
arguing
also
that, because like they've won fucking court cases over this. By the way, Tucker
yeah,
Carlson,
so did
no. What do you think about the leaked text messages from Tucker Carlson that was like basically going like, yeah, no, we know that like it wasn't fraud, but we have to keep saying this because we have to like keep the fucking masses fucking ignorant. That's
to
not
be fair,
literally what he said, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. But to be fair, Tucker Carlson wasn't on Trump's side until as of the beginning of this starting election.
Well,
He talked a lot of he talked a lot of stuff about
probably
Trump
did. He
in the
probably
first.
did. He probably did. But he also was like the main person talking about the Dominion voting machines, which is why they lost which is why they took him to court. They took Fox News to court. They won, and subsequently Tucker Carlson was fired. Why do you think
That's not why
that happened? That absolutely is why he was fired. It was costing.
That's not why it was.
He cost Fox News like hundreds of millions of dollars. That is absolutely why he was fired. But look, that's a minute kind of like side topic. Why do you think that like? What do you think of that? That like he admitted to lying to his audience just to keep them in check.
That shows me that at heart he is a liberal that now sees the light.
Christ.
I don't like.
What is a
Tucker
liberal?
Carlson
What
like
is a
that,
liberal?
bro.
What is a liberal?
A liberal is somebody that is. If you want my honest definition, the liberal definition does not fit an actual liberal. The liberals of nowadays are somebody that thinks that their feelings matter more than facts. Okay.
But I mean, like, what does that even mean, though? So I mean, like, if you were to, if like you were to envision a liberal that was going to be like writing and making policy, I mean, like, what would the policy look like?
I would not be able to have free speech. I would not be able to say what's on my mind. I would not be able to vote in a way that I wanted to because I would be frowned upon.
Do you think that there are any liberals in Congress or in the Senate at present moment?
Yes, there are a few. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there are.
So, what bills have they introduced to ban free speech? And please be specific.
Well, I mean, we could start with the DEI stuff because the DEI stuff that should be for actual.
That's not getting rid of free speech. So, what is the name
what I'm
of the
telling
bill?
you,
What is the name of the bill that they have introduced to kill free speech?
see, this is part of the reason why I wish that y'all would just listen to somebody before you just go, well, what's the bill? The normal American does not have the time nor the energy to look up every single bill that's passed. What the average American can do is sit there and see how the country is affecting ourselves. And the reason that, and I'm going to go back to exactly what I started with, Donald Trump will ruin the U.S. There's no way he'll do that because it cannot get any worse. We're talking about our government that sat there and gave millions of my fucking tax dollars, excuse my language, millions of my freaking tax dollars, my family's tax dollars, your tax dollars if you live in the U.S. I'm not trying to assume, but okay. So that's another thing, though. It's like, my guy, you don't even live in the U.S. You don't understand the struggle. Not saying that you can't do some research, but what I'm saying is in America, there's two types of truths. There's the truth the government wants you to hear, and then there's the truth that you can look at on paper and say, this either kind of doesn't add up, or I can see why we're in a big ass hole. And that's what I'm saying is there's no way that he can do any worse than what we had for the last 4 years. All right. That guy couldn't even walk up and down the stairs without tripping. He couldn't even maintain a whole conversation. And you and Trump anybody else that disagrees says
make a single coherent point. He never has, not in 9 years of being in public life, especially in politics.
Talking about Biden?
No, I'm talking about Trump. He hasn't made a single.
You're out of your mind.
He hasn't really. Name one. Name a specific policy that he has gone into detail about when he was kind of arguing for it to get passed. Name a single policy.
No taxes? What about the no taxes on tips and wages out in overtime? That made sense to me. What about
Well,
the
yeah, but I mean, like,
what
how
about
is he? Yeah, but I mean, like, how is he going to do it though? Right? So, like, this is the
simple
thing.
tariffs?
Yeah, no.
That's how he does that.
So this is the thing with Trump is that like he appeals, and I'm really really sorry now. He appeals to the uneducated electorate because he just says things like he says no tax on tips, he says no tax on overtime, he says we're going to build that they're going to build a wall, and fuck it, we're going to get Mexico to pay for it, even though that never actually happened. But like he just says these things, he just says them, right? He has things
but
that
they
he
did
likes.
pay for it. They paid for a good bit of it.
No,
though.
they absolutely didn't. No, they didn't.
Yes, they
no,
did.
they didn't. Not a single red cent
All right,
went
that's
to
okay.
it.
Look,
Not
all
a
right,
single red cent went to it.
I'm gonna end this. I'm not gonna waste no more of your time. I apologize if you don't want to listen to the truth. That's cool. I get it, but I appreciate you having me on, man.
Okay, I mean, I'm not listening to the truth, but look, anyway.
Yeah,
I
sure. Goodbye.
Oh, that was wild. Okay, it doesn't look like Mary is available, or at least that's the username anyway, so yeah, okay, we're gonna go on to the next person. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Hey, Tyler, 32, and he, him.
Okay, what did you here to debate about?
Sorry, I was wanting to educate him on so many topics, but...
Yeah, so it's okay. It's not that I am necessarily opposed to like doing, to like having somebody else up here or anything. Like I am genuinely not. It's just that the last time that I did have somebody, thank you so much for the gift. I love you so much. Last time that I had somebody up here and like it was like two people, for some reason it was just like a really fucking bad echo, and I genuinely cannot figure out why. Like it's not on my end, I don't think. So like yeah, I like it's just kind of because of that. Like I was just kind of wanting to like avoid doing that, and like because if you're talking to him and you're getting an echo, then that's gonna like well, I just know, just because it happens to me, that it like distracts me from what I'm about to say. Now look, that could just be the tism kind of fucking with my brain there, but like that's just what happens to me, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was absolutely wild.
Yeah, because as an American who does not even know the definition of a First Amendment, that killed me so much.
Yeah.
And I was ready to go to war on that one, but I'm going to let you bring up the next person.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem at all. No problem at all. How you doing, man? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Hello, my name is Diego Martin, and my pronouns are he and him.
Okay, and your age?
22.
Okay, what are you here to debate about?
I'm here to debate about abortions after 9 months, and I also have a question for you.
Okay, go on.
So, do you know where I'm from?
What?
Do you know where I'm from?
No, why would I know that? You haven't told me yet.
I'm from Chinatown, New York. And I believe you aren't from America. You're not currently residing there.
No, not. Yeah.
So,
just a slight pause. From Maggie, I am aware that this is a troll. I am more than aware. I knew from second one, but let's see if we can't have some fun.
okay.
You're trolling.
But-
I am aware that you're trolling, by the way, because like I don't have room temp IQ. Like I am aware that you are trolling. So, do you want to actually have a conversation and kind of drop the ridiculous accent, or do you want to keep doing it and be made a laughing stock for my entire audience?
Yeah, alright, sorry.
Okay, are you ready to be a big boy?
Yeah, I am ready to be a big boy.
Okay. Okay. Good man. Right. What are you here to debate about?
Yeah, so I'm here to debate about the abortion after 9 months.
All right. Why do you disagree?
Well, you might as well just say that you love killing babies, Stephen.
No, that's not at all accurate.
It is accurate, actually.
Nope. There are two types of non. Wait. Fucking. I don't know why I keep getting this fucking verification thing after a fucking while where like I have to continue. Anyway, sorry, it's a whole fucking Anyway. Anyway.
Sounds like a problem.
Yeah, it's weird, but anyway. Yeah. So there are two types of non-lethal methods of abortion that are normally done after kind of 24 weeks when sentience is present, which means that you save the life of the baby, so you, it doesn't die. So it's absolutely not.
What happens to the baby then?
It's taken out of the womb, and I presume you put it in an incubator. Considering that I think that the earliest or like the youngest that we've had is like it's a 26 weeks. Is it possibly even earlier than that? I'm not actually 100% sure, but I think it's 26 weeks. That's the earliest that we've seen of a baby leaving the womb and then surviving.
Oh yeah, well,
in an incubator.
The fetus. So like, this is very interesting.
Okay, so I mean, like, oh, okay. Well, that was wild. I don't know what I even thought about that, honestly. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns? I guess we'll never know.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
My name and my name is Frank. I go by Forehead Snatcher on this platform from time to time. I am 25 years old, and my pronouns are he, him.
Okay. Are you here to debate?
I am here to debate, yes.
Wonderful. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I just got to say, you say gender-affirming care for minors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is really a losing point for you guys. You guys will lose elections after elections anywhere on the planet. You guys keep saying this because it hurts kids. You guys are arguing for hurting kids, and I find that repulsing.
In what way are
Or
you
repulsive, I
arguing for
should say.
hurting kids?
No, you are arguing for hurting kids.
Okay.
You say
in what
gender-affirming care.
In what way
Because-
am I arguing for hurting kids? How does gender
Yeah,
affirming
because
care
we don't
harm kids?
affirm the delusions of. Yeah, because we know that giving children GNHR analog increases the rate of testicular cancer. We know that giving kids HRT does not actually produce any results, any positive results, as shown by the CAST report, as shown by the independent report of the Swedish Health and Wellness Board, an intergovernmental board of Sweden. We know all of these facts, yet you continue to push down this ideology down to our children. You are a sick monster, and you should be held accountable.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to stop with the ad homs and kind of debate like a big boy, or do you want to keep being a little child?
Yeah, I gave you all the facts. You have nothing
Okay.
against the
Well,
facts.
you. So we know that giving minors gender affirming care it lowers suicidality by I think it's over 70%. That they will kind of go on to live. I mean, like happiness is a kind of a tricky thing to kind of measure and to kind of gauge and stuff like that. But we know from self-reports that they're at least kind of happier. The kind of issues that come from it, I mean, it's like mainly societal. It's from kind of the families not wanting to have anything to do with them. It's their friends not wanting to have anything to do with them. It's from being kind of like bullied or persecuted, or being the victim of violence. I mean, like, it's just all of these. It's all of these sorts of things. So I mean, if you want to like specifically talk about things that are actually harming minors, that would be the thing, not the gender affirming care. That helps.
So you're saying that giving kids drugs, which have been actually with many systemic reviews and many peer-reviewed research papers conducted by, I've already outlined 2, CAS Review and the Swedish Health and Wellness Board. They've conducted their own systemic review. You're saying that they found the evidence that they found, or the evidence that they did not find, that this actually helps kid beneficially, positively, but that actually there are drawdowns. So what we have is this drug, or these drugs, these quote unquote cares, the positives are unknown if they even exist, but the negatives are very well known. You're saying that this is helping kids.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to come out here and say that there is absolutely no positives to giving kids gender affirming care,
Why
then,
are
I
you
mean, like, you
strawmanning
like
me? I never
literally
made that
just
claim.
you literally just said like,
I never made an
before I
absolute
started
claim.
before
I
I
never made
started
an absolute
finish
claim.
before
Don't
I
put words in
started
my
talking.
mouth.
Before I started talking, you literally made the statement that there is no positives to giving
I
minors
never
gender
made an
affirming care.
absolute claim.
Yes, you absolutely did. It's the point I was just responding to. So if you like, so I'm going to ask you
That's for
again:
you.
are you ready to talk like an adult, or do you want to keep being a child?
Sir, we're here to debate. You just can't
Right.
handle the facts.
No, I absolutely can handle the facts, and the fact is
Then
that you
respond to the
said
CAS
that there
review.
is
Respond to the CAS review.
you said that there is no positive effects of giving minors gender affirming care. That is what
Respond
you
to
said.
the CAS review. Respond to the National Swedish Health and Wellness Board. Respond to these meta reviews.
Can you accept the fact that you said there is no positive outcomes for giving minors gender affirming care? Can you affirm
It
that?
is, the evidence is inconclusive. The
That is
evidence
a-
for
that is
positive
a-
effect is inconclusive.
That is a yes or no answer. Yes or no. That is the next words
Yes,
out of
the
your
evidence
mouth.
is inconclusive, sir. You want
Did
to?
you say that there is no positive effects for gender affirming care? Did you say that, yes or no?
Yes, I did, and it is correct.
Right.
The evidence
So
is
when
inconclusive.
you
You want to play
said-
semantics?
so-
Go ahead and actually debate.
No. So when you said, I'm going to fucking respond to you because I know that you're still here. When you said that there is no positive effects for it, and then you got all fucking butthurt and got all fucking angry and all fucking, you like pissed shit and fucking cum and shat yourself. When you did all of those things, when in the outrage that I would say that, even though you now have just admitted that you did say that, don't fucking come on here and try and say that I'm fucking strawmanning anybody. You come on here to give me your arguments. I don't give you your arguments. You present your arguments and I fucking respond to them. I am not in the business of fucking making up claims that a guest says, because I mean, just like, fucking why? It's like, again, we're here to argue. Like, you are here to argue like a big boy, and I am here to respond to your arguments like a big boy. If you want to be a child and throw a tantrum, that is your prerogative, but don't fucking come at me and say that I made up something you said and then 2 minutes later fucking admit that you said the thing that you got butthurt over. Don't fucking do that. How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Hello, my name is John, and I'm 18, and my pronouns are he and him.
All right. Are you here to debate?
Yeah,
Okay. What are you here to debate about?
I'm here to debate on all of them. I disagree on all of them.
Okay. Which one do you want to start with?
Donald Trump will ruin the U.S.
Okay. Why do you disagree?
because the US is already at like a very low point and Trump will only bring it higher.
Okay, how?
Because it can't get any lower, can it?
Do you do you honestly think that was the response to the question I just asked you?
Yeah.
So I asked you how he was going to bring it higher, and you said, well, he can only go higher because it's so low. That is not in any way, shape, or form an answer to the question I just asked you. So I'll be nice and I'll give you a second chance. How is he going to improve the US?
Because of he can raise the taxes and then decrease the wealth division in America because it's very high.
Increase the taxes on who?
On the wealthy.
Is that honestly something that you think that Trump is doing right now?
I think in the foreseeable future.
Right. So, well, what I see in the future is the bill that somehow got through Congress and will get through the Senate and Trump will sign is a massive, massive, massive tax break to the top 1% and to high earners. So that it is literally the opposite of what you have just said. That just passed, like yesterday.
He hasn't signed it yet.
He hasn't signed it yet, no, but when it gets to his desk, he will sign it, and it will absolutely implement a massive tax break to high earners.
All right, well, it seems we'll never be able to agree on that, so we'll move on to the next point.
Okay, sure.
So, I don't believe Elon did that salute.
Okay, why not?
Just plain and simple right there. There's not much to talk about there.
Well, like, why don't you think that was the salute? What type of a salute do you think it was?
I don't think he meant to do it.
He did it twice in the space of like 10 seconds. What do you mean he didn't mean to do it?
Well,
if I stub my toe, if I'm walking through my kitchen and I stub my toe on the chair, I don't then do it again 10 seconds later unless I intended to.
Well, that's kind of silly, stubbing your toe in the first place, Stephen. Smack my head. Smack my head. You never smack my head.
Jesus fucking Christ, I can't even fucking deal with these fucking unbelievable fucking morons anymore.
How's it going, man?
How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
My name is Nisha. I'm 21, and it's he, him. And man, I'm actually so sorry for that last guy. What the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, like, no, look, honestly, I mean, like, okay, look, just as a slight fucking timeout and almost like a peek into the life here. I am 29. I've been doing this since I was 18. I can spot a fucking troll a mile away, man. I knew from second one that he was a troll. But anyway, what are you here to debate about, man?
Probably the last one, abortion all 9 months.
Okay. So it would be like definitely just kind of beneficial. So when we're talking about, well, when I'm talking about abortion, I go with the Harvard Medical Dictionary's definition, which is essentially that it is the expulsion of the contents of the uterus. So that is extremely broad, and but I mean, like, it is for a reason. So essentially what that like means in like real world terms is that when a woman is pregnant and they are going to, you know, carry the child to term, and they're going to give birth, and they're going to be a fantastic fucking mom because yay for love, right? when that person gives birth, the pregnancy ceases, right? So the pregnancy has ended. So it's not just about, like, I don't typically use like terminate a pregnancy, because terminate has an awful lot of baggage to it. So yeah, it would just kind of be that, like, it is not a termination, it is just the ending of a pregnancy. So when I say abortion all 9 months as well, there are two currently methods of non-lethal abortion that is typically done about kind of between 24 and 26 weeks, and it is a safe and again non-lethal way of taking the baby out and presumably then putting it into like an incubator or something of that effect. So that is what I essentially mean by abortion all 9 months. So if you have any kind of disagreements with that, you can feel free.
Okay, so thanks for explaining that, because yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. I was kind of taking it as face value, where, geez, this fellow,
that I'm a monster. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
but yeah, thanks. Yeah, I suppose, at what point do you think a fetus would not survive outside the womb?
Not so, well, I mean, like, that kind of, it depends. I mean, like, that's conditional. So I mean, like, if you want to go with like survive outside of the womb, well, I mean, like, unless it's kind of looked after afterwards, then I mean, like what, like all 9 months, like, right? In terms of, and like, I don't think that that's what you meant, right? So what I will say is the earliest I think I'll have to kind of double check it, but I think that the earliest fetus that has survived outside of a womb was 26 weeks. I think it's 26 weeks. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's at that. So like, if we were able then to kind of take the fetus out, put it into an incubator, and so then it would be 26 weeks.
Okay.
Before that, there's like almost kind of nothing that like an incubator and all of the kind of like modern medicine and stuff like that can do at the moment anyway. I mean, obviously this stuff is always improving, so it could be before that, but...
Right, well, I will just say I definitely agree that if a mother cannot support the child, and if she's about to die and all this, she definitely has the right to do that. So I suppose we'll just move on if you want to talk about another topic, because I actually agree with you there.
Okay.
Gender affirming care for minors. My opinion on that is, I don't think that people of a young age even understand gender enough and can commit to a lifelong change. And by gender affirming care, do you mean kind of like surgeries and hormone therapies and stuff like this?
Yes and no.
Because those are life changing, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, like surgeries. Well, yes. So it would be in typical accordance with the Tanner stages of puberty. So you know, for just as kind of like puberty kind of starts like around kind of like 9 or 10, you could kind of then prescribe puberty blockers. After that, then you can kind of get them onto the hormone of their preferred gender. After that, when you're kind of at 16, 17 is when it's usually kind of done, is like top surgery. It's extremely rare for bottom surgery to be done before 18, which, I mean, like, if you're over 18, you know, like, it's your body, your life. Yeah, right. So but yeah, like, so it would just kind of be like pretty much everything else is kind of done before 18. And like, if you were to talk to kind of trans people, as I have trans friends and stuff like that, like they have basically said that if they were afforded the opportunity to be able to go onto puberty blockers and not go through a puberty of a gender that they don't align with, then I mean, like, their like happiness index would be way higher. We know that people who have undergone gender care at a young age are like the risk of like suicidality is like dropped by like I think it's like 70%, like all of these sorts of things. Like, so I mean, like the positives are almost overwhelming. There are of course side effects to drugs, as there is side effects to every single drug that is on the market at the moment. The number one kind of major side effect seems to be that they would be like an inch or two shorter in height than they like otherwise may have kind of been. But other than that, it's, I mean, like it's like side effects are kind of negligible. And also, sorry, because I do know that I'm kind of well, not ranting, but I'm just, you know, I've been talking for a while. What the fuck? Oh yeah, sorry. That if you do go on to puberty blockers and, you know, but like they're like either not working for you, or you just kind of change your mind and you're not wanting to go through the opposite puberty, then you can go off of the blockers, and essentially puberty will hit you like a fucking truck, and you will have it really, really, really rough for like a couple of months, maybe even a year. But after that, you go through puberty as you were kind of supposed to.
Yeah, I suppose the kind of stance I would be taking on this is just to protect young people from, you know, you were mentioning surgery is very rare, but, you know, life-changing care, I suppose, that they may change their mind about, you know. So there's no real way to kind of know what someone's going to think in the future. But personally, and I know you'll definitely disagree with this, but I think that the whole transgender thing is kind of a construct of the modern age. And I think that young people are especially pushed to believe stuff that they don't really want to know or care about. Do you know? That's just my opinion on it.
I mean, like, if you consider the late 1800s part of the modern age, then sure, I typically wouldn't. And that I mean is like the earliest known kind of existence of like trans people. I think the first trans surgery was done in like the 50s, which I also wouldn't consider part of the modern age. So like I'm not really kind of sure where you're kind of getting at there.
I'm sorry, I just got a nosebleed. That's the reason for this. I don't know, but
you're fine. Are you
what
okay?
I'm saying,
Like, can you take a minute? You don't have to continue the conversation.
I'm getting too pent up inside. I think that social media has an extreme bearing on what young people think nowadays. You know, when I was a kid, I didn't even have a phone until I was old, and the whole topic of gender and sexual identity and stuff never even came into my mind. So maybe that's just me, but personally, you know, I'm not a transgender or any of this, so I don't have a good understanding what it's like going on inside their mind. But I can say the prevalence of it has definitely gone up, and the kind of glamorization of it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not.
I would disagree slightly with glamorization. I mean, it's being celebrated, you could say, but I mean, like, that's almost kind of like it's a positive thing that like people are like embracing who they are, and they feel like accepted in being who they are. Obviously not everybody accepts it, but like, you know, that's the world we live in. There are some people who still don't fucking accept gay people, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a fact of the it's just a fact of reality.
I just think that young people should be excluded from adult things like this, because something like gender and sexuality kind of has a big connection with sex and, you know, adult things. Do you know what I mean? I don't think children should even have to worry about it.
Not necessarily. Gender and sex are two completely different things.
Yeah, true. But what I'm getting at is basically, you know, kind of gender and sexuality. I know they're different things, but it kind of, the whole thing of gender reaffirming for minors, it's basically to allow them to become something older that they feel more comfortable in, and that they can go through the change of what they want to become. But at the same time, the kind of end to that is sex, you know? That's really the only reason that you change your gender.
No,
And I don't think
not
children should be
really.
exposed to that.
Not really. You can. I mean, like you can go through like gender affirming care. You can completely transition and then just be asexual for the rest of your life. Like you don't need to be. Like it doesn't necessarily lead to anything that is like sexualized in any way.
Well, I don't think children should even have to care about this.
You don't think that children should be like happy in who they are and happy in their skin
Well,
and be
because
able
they
to kind
would
of
be
freely
happy in who they
express
are.
themselves?
They'd be happy with who they are without even knowing about these kind of weird changes that occur when they're older.
Well, it's
No.
not just when they're older, though. I mean, like if you talk to trans people, the vast majority of them will tell you that they knew this from an incredibly young age. That they were not, that there was something that was just not aligning properly. You know, that like when they were told to kind of go out and like roughhouse or to go out and like play with trucks or play, like just like fight each other. That like that was just not who they were. They didn't feel comfortable doing that, and they kind of felt more kind of comfortable doing more kind of like typically kind of feminine things, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think that children should be trusted to have these opinions at all. And if that's the case, then it's kind of left up to the parents. And I don't think the parents should have any impact on what a child wants to become when they're older.
Well, I
You
mean,
know, because I
ultimately,
don't
the
think-
decision would be left up to the parents and to medical professionals that they would take them to. So I mean, like this is like a years long process.
True, but I think that people would be better off just not going through it, because there's a lot of also
Well,
extra things. that go with
unfortunately,
being
the
trans.
trans people in particular would disagree with you. That would be the unfortunate part of that.
I know, but by becoming transgender, you kind of invite a lot of unwanted attention to yourself. And personally, I think they'd actually be better off with dysphoria being treated than they would with living with being transgender. Do you know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, how do you think that we treat gender dysphoria?
Well, it's a mental disorder, so there's lots of treatment.
Right, but I mean, like, what would that look like?
Personally,
I
I'm
don't
not a
think
medical.
it's a mental disorder, by the way, but just for the sake of argument, I mean, like, how would you perceive that you would treat that?
Personally, it's about showing a child good morals and what they should
What
become
on
when they're
earth has morality got to do with it? There's nothing to do with it whatsoever.
What you mean? With what?
What a person's morality has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not a child socially transitions. There's nothing to do with it at all. In absolutely
moral
no way,
aspect-
shape, or form.
The moral aspect of it is being a good father and showing your child, your son, what a man is. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's when-
no,
when young people
being a good father would be to love and to accept your child for who they are, and if
But they don't know
and-
what they are. That's the point of a
well,
father.
well, no, but they
Show them what they
they
need.
they do know what they are. That's the point. They
No,
do know what
a
they
child
are.
doesn't know what they are.
Well, they do, because when you bring them to the psychologists and the gender behaviorists and like all of these like different kind of medical people that they will go and see on their journey, they like through like counseling, they will like tell them essentially in their own version of the words that they are not the gender that they like have been born into. That's not the right terminology, and I know that an awful lot of trans people don't like that, so I am only kind of apologizing for it, but like at the same time, like that's not, it is absolutely nothing to kind of do with like the morality of it. Like that just doesn't have any sort of like an input into it, and they absolutely know what they are.
I think letting a child believe that changing gender is something right and something normal is wrong, and it's hurtful and harmful because it will damage them permanently, and they'll think it's normal and they'll think the world
But
is
who's it
horrible for
hurtful and harmful to?
themselves. They
But
need to
it-
have good role models that show
but
them
it's-
what normal
it's
is.
there is no such thing as normal. But I mean, like, it is absolutely not hurtful or harmful to them. In fact, that the studies that we have, it is ultimately beneficial to them. I mean, like, suicidality goes down by 70% when they are socially accepted. I think it's actually when they have literally one person in their life who accepts them, the risk of suicidality goes down by 70%. That is unbelievably beneficial. That is not
staggering.
That is yes, absolutely, it is staggering. Yes, so that would be a
But at the
benefit.
same time-
That would be a benefit to them. So not allowing them to do that, if they didn't have that one person in their life, that would be harming them.
So what you're saying is that it would be great if society accepted transgenderism as something normal, but unfortunately it
If
doesn't.
society accepted everybody for who they are, that would be beneficial.
Yeah, exactly, but that's not the way society is at the moment, and unfortunately, by becoming transgender,
Right,
you're
well,
inviting.
Whose fault is that? So it's not
Past
mine.
generation.
I accept I accept trans people. I
I
love
also
them for
accept
who they
trans
are.
people, but I
Right,
think
but
that's
when
something
you're
that
right,
happens.
but when you're saying that it's going to harm them, that's not accepting them. That is like that's not accepting them.
Well, it is inherently harmful to their body and their mind by glamorizing.
But why is it harmful though? I mean, like, we're just kind of
Because-
going in circles here, and you're
Yeah.
kind of pivoting at some stages as well. Like, we are like, why is it harmful to them?
Because it's not normal, and it
There's no such
it
thing as
puts-
normal.
There is in the scope of society.
No, there isn't. There's no such thing
There
as
is.
normal. There's absolutely no such thing as normal. No.
There is. There's a man and a woman, and that's the way society runs, and they get married now.
So the word that you are looking for would be traditional, not normal.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what most people are accustomed to. So when they see a man walking around,
that's not my problem, and it shouldn't be yours either. I don't care what people are accustomed to. I don't care what people expect from other people. That's that's on you. That's on you. That's not on anybody else.
True that, but it's on most people because most people believe that's kind of weird,
I don't care if they
So-
think it's weird.
By becoming a transgender, you're basically inviting people to look at you in some weird way because, unfortunately,
Not necessarily.
it's not going to be accepted by everyone because it doesn't happen in nature,
Yes, it absolutely does happen in nature. 100% it does.
People dress as women and cut their dicks off.
No. So, yeah, oh my god, you are so fucking ignorant of this topic. It is unbelievable. Nobody
Because
cuts
if you're
their
gonna
dick
say
off.
clownfish or
That
something-
just doesn't happen. No, I actually wasn't going to say clownfish at all. I was going to talk about the fact that a lioness, that would be a female lion, when they have changed kind of gender roles, they have grown a mane, which is typically only what the male lion would do. So absolutely, gender roles have been flipped in nature. It's all over nature. It's littered with it. We are just sorry.
Humans have evolved in a way that there is the man who goes hunting and there's a woman who takes care of the child and gives birth and does all the cooking and cleaning, and the man goes out and works. That's just the way it is. When you start I feel like transgenderism is a result of a society that has too little to care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So they start making problems.
Dude. I know that you seem to have this wet dream about living in the fucking 50s, but we don't live in the 50s. We live in 2025. So we need to kind of stop
Yeah, but we
going
don't-
back
we
to
don't live
this
in
appeal
2070,
to tradition.
But tradition is good. It's what shaped humanity as it is.
Tradition is not necessarily good at all in any way, shape, or form. Oh, okay. So, what was the domestic violence rate in the 50s?
Pretty high.
Yeah. So would that be kind of good? That was seen as normal then, right? So I mean, would that be good?
I don't think that was seen as normal back then. But people did it
I mean,
anyway.
like the rates of it were pretty high, as you've just admitted. I mean, it was never something that, like, I mean, like there was like a reason why the U.S. had to bring in the fucking Violence Against Women Act. There are reasons why we had to legislate that, you know, spousal rape is a thing. So I mean, like there is absolutely all of these things that were not maybe necessarily considered like normal or acceptable or okay, but it was definitely seen as normal in the sense that, like, well, that's just kind of what happens sometimes. So like,
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, listen, the biggest thing for me is I see transgender people, and you know, maybe I'm just ignorant to it, but I just feel weird when I look at them, and I don't think it's normal. So, what I'm asking you is,
that
how
seems
do I
like a
actually
you problem.
start? Yeah, what I'm asking you is, how do you start seeing that as normal? Like, is that just built into my mind permanently that I think they're weird?
Yeah, probably. It also just seems like a really big you problem.
So you can't change other people's minds, is what you're saying, which means society isn't going to.
You can absolutely change people's mind, but the problem is that not an awful lot of people are open to having their mind changed.
Yeah, because they're too set in their ways. Same way you're set in your ways and I'm set in my ways. Like, unfortunately, arguments and debates.
But I've changed my mind before on a bunch of different things, because I'm open to change. I'm open to being proven wrong.
Are you open to being called a smegma head?
Christ above. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. I got time for maybe one, maybe two more, but we'll see how we go.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your name, age, and pronouns?
My name is Sam. I'm 19, and my pronouns are he, him, I suppose.
Okay. Are you here to debate?
No. So first of all, I just want to say that I agree with a couple of the things that you're saying. Like, I've been listening now for the last 40 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I obviously have some major differences. Okay, especially with gender. I know that it's quite an awkward topic in today's world with this woke culture, but I think that gender needs to be talked about. And
what is
gender
woke
affirming. What? Sorry, what you say?
Define woke.
Like, just people being like making up their own genders and stuff, like in the modern world, and just being gay. You know what I mean?
No, that's not what woke means. Do you want to try again?
Okay, I'll try again. It means in the modern world, people are just becoming they're getting too all worrying about stuff like their gender and all that stuff. But you could just say that you're a man or a woman.
No, woke is essentially it's just being aware of the disparities that face certain marginalized a minority group. That is essentially what
okay, I kind of knew that, but I just didn't really know how to spit it out. So thanks for verifying that. Okay, so I think that I don't think that you should have gender affirming care for minors, because if everyone had that, and then maybe if we were kids, we could say that we wanted to be something else, and we got our dick cut off when we were 10 or something, and we wouldn't be able to turn back then, would we?
Okay, so bottom surgery is extremely rarely. I can think of maybe 2 examples off the top of my head where it has ever been done on someone who is under the age of 18. That is one point. The second point is that is absolutely not how bottom surgery works. So you may want to educate yourself there.
And also, if someone's a kid and they get put on estrogen and they want to become a woman, and then they want to undo that, it's impossible. And they have tits, and they have all these issues, and they probably die prematurely.
That's if they've started HRT, but you're on puberty blockers for a period of a maximum of 2 years beforehand, and puberty blockers are entirely reversible.
Do you have any evidence to support that?
Yeah, sure. The numerous amounts of studies that have been done by it.
Well, numerous amount of studies. Can you give me one example? Like, I know this is going to take you a minute to find, but I
The
want one
APA.
example of.
The APA.
Sorry? Who funded the study?
Why does that matter?
Because if, like, one of these big pharmaceutical companies funded the study,
So you know who the APA is, right?
Animal Pharmaceutical Anatomy.
No,
is that
it is the American Psychological Association.
Okay, and what about it?
They literally write the book on this shit. Like, unironically, literally.
I could write a fucking book and say it was the word of God, and sure people would believe it, wouldn't they?
Okay, do you want to put your big boy pants on and argue like a big boy, or are
Sorry,
we just going
sorry.
in
Actually,
circles
I didn't
here?
mean to offend you. I didn't mean to offend you.
You're
Okay,
not.
so now
You're
let's.
not offending me, not in any way, shape, or form. I'm just like saying that you could write a book on anything. Yeah, sure, and so could I. But that doesn't mean that anybody should take me or you seriously in any way, shape, or form. But when the American
okay.
Psychological
I suppose,
Association, the most trusted source when it comes to anything that is even remotely within any of these sorts of topics, which I mean, like, you are talking about metadata, you are talking about peer-reviewed studies, you are talking about long-term studies over like 30-40 years. If you're just going to dismiss that as, yeah, well, sure, I could write a book too, well, I mean, like, then I'm sorry, but this
Has anyone ever
conversation
been
is
on
done.
puberty block, or has anyone ever been on like estrogen for that many years?
But yes, typically speaking, trans people continue to take the HRT for not all of their lives, but definitely like most of it.
Do you think that it's a smart decision? Like, in your personal opinion, do you think that's a good decision?
If that's what makes them happier, then yes, absolutely.
And do you think that this would shorten their lifespan at all? No, because I think that it would.
It hasn't
I think
been,
that's not
it
good
hasn't
for you.
been proven to, so I don't have any reason to think so.
And also, like, as a man, you should be glad to be what you're born with, you know? Like, you should be happy with how you are. You shouldn't be wanting to change yourself.
Maybe you
And
should be, but not
artificially.
everybody is.
Because it's not like there's this. I'm not like saying that it should be like all down to religion, but I'm not saying that, like, if God made the world, he didn't make it so he could just change, you know? It's like artificially done.
Right. Okay. Well, look, I mean, I definitely don't think that God.
Okay, let's
that
move
God
on to that.
created the world. Yeah. No. We're not going to move on. Do you have any sort of proof or any sort of study or anything that you can point me to that suggests that a trans person is
Well, like, you know,
lifespan
like,
is shortened?
this might be not the best example. I'm not sure. Like, this isn't valid, okay? But you know, like, what a soy boy is. Like, it's not like a great example to give. You know what a soy boy is? Like, do you?
Yeah.
So, like, soy boys are like estrogenic men. You know that, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And like, they usually have weakened masculine features, and it's just not good.
Are we getting to a study or like a set of data
No,
that you can
there's no
show me?
study. No, I'm just saying that, like, the soy
Right,
boys.
so we're just going to drop that then because you don't have
Yeah.
any
So
arguments.
now let's move on.
Right,
So I believe that Elon did that
But
salute.
you're
I do.
arguing from fifis then, not from facts.
Yeah, okay. I agree that Elon did that a salute. I think that is actually disgusting, to be honest. Like, that's quite disgusting. And I think he knew what he's doing. Okay. And then, let's move on. Donald to ruin the US. Now, this is a big one. Like, this is the timeless question, since, like, I obviously had a quite controversial day today. Do you know about that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absolutely atrocious.
How Zelensky was disrespected. Yeah, I actually thought that as well. But
Mm-hmm.
in the long run, I think that he's going to do a good job
With
just everything. Like, he's going to bring the economy back. It may be bad for other countries, but it's going to be good for the Americans.
But why do you think that he's going to bring it back?
Bring what back?
Bring the economy back. That's what you just said. What policy
Oh, yeah.
proposals has he?
Higher taxes, import duties and stuff. You know what I mean?
Higher taxes for who?
Import duty. That's for everyone.
Right, which is going to cost U.S. consumers more.
And Yeah, but they're gonna. Yeah, but it means that at the end of the day, the government's gonna have more money, so they can do more stuff and like add
Right,
more
so
to the economy.
already low-income Americans who are already struggling to like pay their rent,
No, but they
pay
can
their
get
bills.
American-made goods. It's only on American
Right,
stuff
but
that
yeah, but
can
they're
be made in
paying.
America.
Yeah, but they're paying more for those goods though.
But how do you know they're gonna pay more? They could pay less. Like
Well,
it's
because
just if it's not
because the tariffs is raising the prices on all of these goods. It's already happened.
yeah, but it's only the goods that can't be made in America now.
Yeah, sure, but right now, for an awful lot of the goods that are imported, the US doesn't have any sort of manufacturing plants to be able to just switch over and do this right now. So you're talking about maybe kind of 2 years from now, by the time that all of the kind of plants, the manufacturing plants, by the times that they get the planning permission for them, by the time that they're actually
Yeah, I
built,
said one more
by,
thing
by
to
the time
say.
that it's all set
One more
up, by the time that all of these things are done, you're looking at about 2 years. Now, you as a US business owner, you're thinking to yourself, do I go to the bother of making this plant, knowing that it's not just going to come up, and knowing that it's not exactly going to be free either? Do you still...
Could I say something really quickly, Stephen?
No, because I'm not
Really
finished.
quickly.
Do you
Butt in for 1 sec.
Do you continue to build that plant, or do you continue importing on the assumption that the next president who comes in is just going to do away with all of these tariffs? Which one are you going to do?
I don't know, but I just have one more thing to say. Can I just quickly butt in?
Really?
Yeah.
You don't know?
You're big smegma head, smegma head, smegma head, smegma head.
What the fuck is wrong with people tonight, man? Like, there's like actually people fucking debating, like, not necessarily honestly, but like somewhat fucking like, the fuck is going on? Jesus Christ. Okay, we have literally, this is the last person that I am taking. I'm so sorry, because there's 3 people waiting to go, so I genuinely am sorry. This is the last person that I'm taking tonight, because it's almost midnight here. I'm getting fucking tired, and I was working today, and when I get tired I get cranky, and that's not when that's... yeah. How you doing? Are you here to debate?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Okay, what's your name, age, and pronouns?
It's John. I am 22, and he, him.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
I would like to talk about the Trump thing, but first I'd like to address what you said about puberty blockers.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, well, do you know the type of puberty blocker that they use for transgender children? What it's called?
Oh my god, I looked it up there earlier. Give me a second.
The
most common one is Lupron.
Yeah, it is Lupron.
Yep.
Do you know what the black box warning for Lupron is?
What, the which, sorry?
The black box warning. It's an American designation that they put for all medicines, like the harmful risks.
No, I'm not overly familiar with it, no.
We'll basically discuss heart attacks, sudden death, but the main thing, and the thing that you see among most people who have taken Lupron for more than 7 months, is bone density issues. And there have been thousands of cases across the U.S. of transgender youth who are on Lupron who have osteoporosis at the age of 20, and they are eating food and breaking their jaws.
So typically this is then kind of backed up with like a vitamin supplement or like some other kind of a thing. And if it's not, then it's medical malpractice, and they should sue.
Osteoporosis is not something you can combat with a vitamin.
Well, when the drug that you are taking is potentially impacting your bone density, then you can take something to help your bone density so that it doesn't, so that it's basically not affected. One kind of cancels out the other.
Well, that's just not true. I mean, if you can tell me a vitamin that has enough calcium that can actually deter the impact of Lupron, then why aren't these kids taking it?
Well, as I said, they absolutely should be taking it, and if they're not, then it's medical malpractice, because all of this stuff is done with like doctors, and they should know the side effects of them, and there also should be, and 9 times out of 10 there is regular checkups with a doctor. It's usually every kind of 2 to 3 months, I think it is. So like they absolutely should be kind of reading for this stuff, and if they're not, then again it's medical malpractice, and they should sue.
Well, I would say that Lupron has been around for decades, and they've known the risk of osteoporosis. That's why they never keep people on it for more than a year, even in when its original use was for precocious puberty, right? You have an 8-year-old girl who gets her period. That's too early. You want to delay it, right? But they never keep them on it for more than a year because they know that the negative effects will by far outweigh what it's doing to help. That's why when you keep these kids on it for 3, 4, 5 years, you can't.
Nobody is on it for 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
The maximum, the maximum term is 2 years. That's the maximum.
Well,
but typically,
that's not true.
Typically, it's 12 to 18 months. That's typically, but the maximum, the maximum case is 2 years.
Okay, well, if I'm a 12-year-old boy and I'm going through puberty, how are you going to stop my testosterone levels going up if I'm on it from 12 to 13? That's just not a fact. I don't know where you're getting these facts from, but they're not true.
Well, the puberty blockers would stop the production of testosterone.
Yes, they pause your puberty. Yeah. They do not get rid of it. So when I'm 13 and a half, when I'm supposed to be off Lupron, my testosterone would ramp back up, would it not?
Yes.
Yes, so what is the point of them?
Well, the point of them is to be on them for a set period of time, and then you start taking estrogen if you are a boy, or the opposite then if you're a girl.
Well, if you have it all figured out, then can you explain to me why the Dutch protocol and all of these European countries have banned gender-affirming care and certain aspects for young children because of Lupron?
But there are
why did the UK?
But I mean, like there are others. Also, the UK didn't ban it. You should really look into that a little bit more. But yeah,
what do you mean they didn't ban it?
There are other. I'm sorry, was it the word? They didn't or ban it that was tripping you up. They didn't ban it. Like it's pretty fucking
ban on puberty blockers to be made indefinite on experts' advice. That is a government UK website.
Yeah. Okay. So you should really
2 months ago.
You should really read past the headline and look into it a little bit more. But also there are more puberty blockers other than Lupron. I just know that that's one of the main ones.
Ban on puberty blockers to be made indefinite on experts' advice. Gov.uk. I can give you the URL if you want, but
okay,
I read past the headline.
So we're moving past. So there are other forms of puberty blockers other than Lupron. So you can just go on to a different one.
Well, but they didn't say ban on Lupron. They said ban on puberty blockers.
Right, but you attributed the ban to Lupron, so...
No, I'm saying this is all puberty blockers.
Right, well, I mean, like, that's just a bigoted bill, then, that should never be passed. Why would that be passed? That's just ridiculous.
Well, you tell me. I mean, it wasn't just the UK. I believe it was Germany, the Netherlands, and France as well. So, if they're okay to take, and doctors...
They're all atrocious bills.
And doctors are in support of them, then what is the problem? Because this is saying it's based on expert advice.
Yeah, I'm sure that there are an awful lot of doctors who are in favor of it. There are an awful lot of really, really bigoted doctors as well.
It follows a targeted consultation advice on patient safety from the Independent Commission on Human Medicines and CAS review. Government and NHS continue to improve children's gender services to provide all-around holistic support, but cannot at this time currently back the use of child puberty blockers. So the NHS and the Commission on Human Medicines are evil, and they're supporting an evil bill. Is that your point?
In my view, yeah.
Okay. Then we can move past that if that's your view.
Okay. I mean, like, is it just the side effects of it that's like tripping you up? Because I mean, like, the list of side effects on my fucking girlfriend's why the fuck am I blanking? Fucking birth control. Oh my god, why was I blanking on that? I mean, Jesus Christ, you unfold the thing and it's like a fucking topographical map. It's like, it's ridiculous. The side effects on it are absolutely endless almost.
No, I agree. And I think there are many drugs.
If just kind of like risky side effects are, then I mean, like, the list of drugs that you're going to have to ban is, I mean, like, it's almost endless.
No, but I mean, the point of those long lists of side effects on drugs like that is to, help if they get, if anyone sues them, they can say, well, this was a warning, right? That's to curb legislation. These are black box warnings. These are things that they know are more likely to happen, and you see that. You can say that there's no adverse side effects.
Hang on. So the point, just right over. The point
I
is,
got the point.
I don't think you did. So if the argument that you're in support of all of these countries kind of banning it is that the list of side effects are like really, really bad and stuff like that, then like
No, I'm not
why
saying the list
aren't
of side effects.
I'm
not saying the list of side effects.
Well, then why did you bring up the side effects in the beginning?
I'm
Because I
saying
didn't.
actual data on the amount of osteoporosis in girls and boys 18 to 25 is
Right, so that would be a
skyrocketing.
side effect that you
So
brought
it's
up.
not the list of side effects that I'm concerned with. It's the actual side effects that we can see and record.
Right, well, that would
Thousands
be
of
one of the side effects that you brought up. So you brought up the side effects. So when you said
Yeah,
that
no, I know. But I'm not saying a list. I'm not saying just the fact that it's
yeah. But we have all of these known side effects that an awful lot of women and girls are living with because they're on birth. Yeah. So why aren't they petitioning to ban those when they know that there are adverse side effects?
Well, can you give me, please, the percentages of women that are getting these adverse side effects and how serious they are?
Well, I mean,
If
I
they're,
don't know the exact percentages on them. I just know that like there's
above-
a massive
if they're
list
above
of
7%.
side effects, and that there are an awful lot of people who are living with those side effects. There are women and girls who have given testimony when they come off of their birth control that like their like hormone levels kind of like balance out again, that they're not as like irritable, that there's like all of these other different things. If they want to go down the kind of medical route, there are absolutely different kind of medical side effects to them. So my main point is, if you are in favor of banning a certain drug because of the side effects of it, then why are you not in favor of banning all of these other different types of drugs? And it's not just limited to birth control either, but all of these other different types of drugs because of the side effects that real people are actually living with. Because it seems to me that if you are, then you are being consistent, and if you are not, then you're just a transphobic bigot.
No, I think there's a difference between your hormones being out of balance or coming back into balance.
Are you being consistent and are going to be in favor of banning all of them?
Can I finish?
Are you going to
I
be
think there's
consistent?
a difference between a hormonal imbalance and osteoporosis. Do you know what osteoporosis is?
Yes, I do. Are you going to be consistent
You know
and are in favor of banning all of them?
Do you know what the cure for osteoporosis is?
I'm going to give you one more chance
I'm going to be
answer
inconsistent.
this.
I'm going to be inconsistent.
You're going to be
Because
inconsistent.
I think there's a difference.
Then I have no reason to continue talking to you. Good night. All right. Okay. That was the last one. I'm really, really sorry because I know that I have Galactic Entropy. I think I'm saying your username correctly. I know that I have you waiting. Guy knew I was wrong. No, I just don't talk to people who are not consistent in their views. There is a big old difference. So yeah, I am going to leave it there, guys. I'm really, really sorry. It's like 2 minutes to midnight here. I've been awake since 7 o'clock this morning because I was in work. Genuinely, okay, we're at just over 3,000 likes. That is absolutely unfucking believable. There has been so many gifts. Genuinely thank you so much for all of those. It's telling me I have like 12 new fucking followers, which is just absolutely like, this live is genuinely blown my mind in like expectations, and there's a bunch of people liking the live right now. Yeah, no, genuinely absolutely fucking just phenomenal stuff. So I won't be live again tomorrow night, but I will be live on Sunday night. If there is anybody else who hasn't, and there is somebody else who has just sent another fucking gift, genuinely thank you so much. If there is anybody who was on tonight that wanted to come in that didn't get a chance to, I'm going to be live on Sunday night as well. So follow me here and you'll get the notifications and everything else like that. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, genuinely, I absolutely love each and every single one of you. So look, take care, have a good night, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Okay, and now to the YouTube side of things. Yes, genuinely, We've had consistent viewers the entire way through. I'm not 100% sure what happened to Bree and to Savage, but comments just kind of cut out a little bit there. They usually kind of say that like they're like heading off or something like that. I don't know what kind of happened there, but anyway, look at that. That's neither kind of here nor there. Point is, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I swear to Christ, I fucking mean this. I love each and every single one of you. So that's going to be it for this stream. I am going to, as I had said on the TikTok outro, I'm not live tomorrow night, but I will be live on Sunday night. So if you are new here, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications, and you'll know exactly when I am live again. We're going to be doing another TikTok live on Sunday night. We're going to be talking to more people. This was actually a really good live. I'm gonna have an awful lot of clips from this. I'd like seriously, I'm gonna have so fucking many. So definitely keep an eye out for those, and then I'm gonna have even more then from Sunday night. So definitely, yeah, look, sorry because I'm waffling now. I love each and every single one of you. I genuinely do. So like, subscribe, do all of that YouTuber bollocks, and I'll talk to you in the next one.